bell as NASCAR Camping World Truck Series practice from Talladega continues. Bell currently 15th quickest. He's run 5 laps. You see the upper left-hand portion of the screen. About 21 minutes left in this first practice. We'll take an hour break and come back for a final 60-minute practice session.
On the other side of the track, his teammate William Byron is running around. The fast time for Byron's been about a 54.5-second lap. That's right over 176 miles an hour. And Bell's a little bit slower than that. See if he can pick up some speed here. It's about a half second off of his teammate, Phil.
Yeah, right now the Chevrolets have the top 5 spots, led by Spencer Gallagher. And then you have the 2 Red Horse Toyotas of Matt Tiff and Timothy Peters, 6th and 7th.
Our fastest forward is Tyler Reddick. He's back in the 12th position. The difference between that, 54.64 is 12th in that forward of Reddick's, and then up top, 53.87, so 3/4 of a second.
Bell hopes that this race finishes better than the last time we were on the Super Speedway. Check him out at Daytona back in February. The way this race ended for Christopher, not the way you want it, that's for sure. You see everybody slipping and sliding around, and
This setup of Mad Dash. We can't even get to pit road. That's how hard it is to race in one of these restrictor plate tracks.
We're gonna have to watch this tomorrow too, because these guys are all right up on the chip, trying to get every inch they can get. You can see as around goes Bell, losing his track position in that 4 truck.
Remember, caution clock will be in play, and we'll see all those guys just like they're trying to get to pit road before the caution clock expires. They want to get there and get their pit work done, get back on the racetrack.
of course Bell's night ended when he went flipping down the front straightaway at the end of that race.
Hard, flipping hard too.
Not the way you want to cross the start-finish line at the end.
Okay, I'm gonna get what I've been waiting for. I hear the sound. It's about 10 or 12 trucks just going off pit road as hard as they can go. We're gonna see some drafting now.
There's Grant Enfinger leading that group in the 24, Spencer Gallagher in the 23. Good strong trucks, Cole Custer, the 00.
So a couple of GMS trucks leading the way, getting a little feel for the draft here with their teammates.
GMS looking pretty good so far. You see Timothy Peters back off. I'm not sure he wanted to be in this big a pack. He backed off and has gotten together with William Byron now in the 9 truck, about 20-30 truck lengths back from this pack.
And you know, Phil, that could be a plan. Sometimes these drivers want to know how far they can fall back and still keep up with the draft or catch the draft. So there's a lot of different plans here. We talked about the playbooks for the crew chiefs. Now they're going to run this race tomorrow. The drivers have their own opinions too about how they're going to run it.
There's Peters and Byron back there.
We saw that right now, the fast lap, Spencer Gallagher 178. We're going to obliterate that here shortly when those guys get back around to the start-finish line.
That's Gallagher second in line with his teammate Grant Enfinger leading the charge. Check in with Caitlin. Caitlin?
Well, Vince, I just spoke with Crew Chief Junior Joyner, the crew chief for Matt Crafton. He said so far in this practice session, they have been focusing on single truck runs, also documenting the side skirts and splitter to make sure they are all good for qualifying, which will be tomorrow morning. But they brought him back in the garage area, changed all 4 tires. He said, we'd like to wait until some other competitors go out so we can draft and see how the truck handles in a pack. But he said so far, Matt Crafton happy with it, says it drives fine, said it just wanders a little bit, can't seem to find that happy spot on track. But this has been a tough place for Matt Crafton. 10 starts, only 1 top 5. It came back in 2010, Vince.
Well, then he'd take one of those top 10s tomorrow, I guarantee you that, because that would be enough to get him into the next round of the chase.
Nice 5 truck draft here. You can see trying to make some moves, figuring out what how the air is affecting it. These are the 2 I'm going to keep my eye on. Can Timothy Peters and William Byron run faster than that pack of 5, Bill? They're breaking the air for them a little bit up through there, but will that be enough to let them pull up?
If they get side by side, I think so. Right now, they ran, the group in front ran about a half a second, maybe 3/4 of a second faster than William and Timothy did. We saw Cole Custer pull out of line there for a moment, got back in line. They're going to pick up Matt Tift as well in the 11 Red Horse truck. We saw the speed was 183 last lap. We go up to 184, almost 185. Remember, we were 178 2 laps ago for the top speed.
So it's a big difference between running in the draft and running by yourself.
In a good draft, we'll see speeds in excess of 190 miles an hour average around here.
So Infinger has jumped down a line, and that's Spencer Gallagher leading the charge with Cole Custer and John West Townley following in the second and third spots.
If I'm a crew chief or a driver, I like this little draft here. Pretty tame right now. We don't have anybody jumping out of the line, making it 2 wide, 3 wide, or whatever. This is enough to get enough speed, Michael, to see where your levels are, where your splitter is, and your side skirts. This is going to be fast enough to figure that out.
Look, they're going to go down into turn 1 and right about 190 miles an hour in that draft. 188 you saw there. They get it to 99, 188. Now let's see what this wind does to them on the back straightaway in this pack. We know we watched a truck earlier today lose 5 miles an hour going straight down the straightaway. Can the draft help them make up that gap?
I think we might see the same thing. We're losing some speed. Now it's really holding pretty steady. Now we're losing a couple, but they're side by side as well.
Looking at the telemetry on screen of Cole Custer, and Custer has just gone to the front of that line after Spencer Gallagher pulled out.
I'm with you, Phil. If I'm the crew chief, this is making me happy. I'm going to learn what my splitter height is. I'm going to learn how my truck will pull up. A lot of information being gathered in this little run here.
And I think that's why the 24 Grand Infinger pulled on a line. He wanted to make sure that that truck had some recoverability.
We saw Spencer Gallagher leading the line for quite some time. Then he pulled out, and now Gallagher running third in line behind John West Townley and Cole Custer. We're going to feel for how his truck handles at the front and then handles with a little bit of traffic in front of it. Less than 15 minutes remaining here in this first practice. NASCAR Camping World Truck Series from Talladega.